It's the Sports Saga podcast presented by Al Dias Electric. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, follow us across all of our social media platforms, watching and listening platforms as well. I'm Brady Kudo, joined by my co-host Keegan Hamlet and our guest, the head men's basketball coach of Virginia Wesleyan University, Dave Macedo. Dave, we've been looking forward to this for a long time. Welcome. Most importantly, how are you?
I'm well. Busy. Season just winded down, but great to be with you guys today.
Thank you for taking the time. We're starting that recruiting process, right? That's big summer coming up.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if the recruiting process ever ends. It's kind of a never-ending grind. So we're anxiously waiting on a few commitments. We hope we have a few kids that have deposited or committed to us for next year, but we're waiting for a few more of the right guys. And like everybody else, we're just out and about and at All-Star games and doing some home visits, stuff like that. So it doesn't end just yet. We hope to have a little downtime in the near future, but I'd say in the next month we'll probably know our recruiting class.
Sounds good. Good luck with that. So let's go right into this. Obviously, you've been at VWU for over 20 years, but I want to talk about before coaching. What was Dave Macedo doing before he was coaching?
Well, I was playing like every other Somerset student athlete. I would say down at Pottersville, I was playing Little League and Senior League and, just into baseball, basketball, and then playing with our friends all over town. And that kind of sparked my interest. And then obviously playing up at, the high school there. It was the old high school. The new high school is beautiful, by the way. Um, and just grew up with a bunch of good friends and kind of a competitive environment and just really enjoyed it. So it was something that really got me in, and obviously having a dad that coached me throughout my high school and I don't want to say middle school days of playing and all the sports helped me as well.
Would you say your dad is one of the people who inspired you to become a coach later on, or did you have another inspiration or person that helped you out?
Yeah, I would say all my coaches really played a role in me sparking my interest in coaching. My father, obviously, at an early age, and instilling the work ethic and the details, and just accountability and challenging us to be the best we can be and reach our potential. And then obviously the coaches I've had throughout the year, I think Dick Tinsley, Lenny Alves, I want to say all those guys really from a basketball standpoint, and Larry Thomas on the basketball side, Jim Sullivan, those guys were all, brought different things to the table. And then certainly when I got into college coaching and played for Coach Jerry Rickroad, that really, was the next step for me. He really, took it to a new level. And just, when you play a college sport, just the time commitment, the details that really going to college from high school is so different, and just all the behind the scenes stuff that really you have to do and wear a lot of hats. And then I was fortunate to join his staff, but I would say that was kind of my transformation. And then a neat little story. I would say the one thing that most people don't know is when I was an athlete at Wilkes University my sophomore year, I got a chance to coach my brother's team in the Somerset High. I want to say summer league. They played at Apponequet at Seekonk.
Yeah.
That really kind of just made me really think about coaching. That was something I really enjoyed, and from that point on, I was kind of sold. And so when I got the opportunity, I dove in.
They still do that summer league. That's crazy. That's Case
Yeah, they
Somerset does
really
it.
do.
So many schools. That's
Yeah.
still going on all these years later. Um, have you had, obviously, you're a national champion. You've made so many NCAA tournaments at the D3 level. Have you had any ambition or opportunity to move up to D1 or D2?
I don't really talk about that too much, but I would say that from my standpoint, I always wanted to be at a place that appreciated
Yeah.
us and what we did, and I really wanted to enjoy who I worked for, and I've always been blessed to have that. The college president that hired me, Billy Greer, was, was awesome to me and my family, my ADs throughout the year, and then, our new administration now. So I always felt like if I enjoyed where I worked and I could get the kids that I wanted to coach and be happy, nothing really gets by the happy factor, then, I never really wanted to be somewhere else. And Virginia Beach is a special place. It's a great place to raise a family. There's so much convenience. And when we go to different parts of the country and play, maybe that convenience isn't there. But athletics and the culture are really big at the university. And I felt like we could always be successful. Obviously, there's some challenges everywhere. But I felt like as long as I had the people I wanted to work for, we could get those kids and be happy. I never really cared what level it was. And for me, this has just been home.
So you've been coaching for a long time. We already touched 20 years. You've already been a national champion. Not necessarily NBA, but have you had any players go professionally, maybe G League, overseas, or anybody anywhere like that?
Yeah, we've got a ton, actually. We have a locker room that kind of points out what some of the anchors of our programs have gone on and done. But we probably had 5 or 6 guys that have played professional, signed contracts. I think we got 4 guys over there right now. And we got different parts of the world. We got a guy in Armenia, a guy in Qatar, a guy in Germany. Wow. And then we've had, a National Player of the Year, Brandon Adair, who was just, one of the best players we've ever coached. And he's an NBA ref right now. And he came through the G League by way of refereeing, not playing. But he spent his time overseas as well. So there's some really neat stories. I think at our level, people don't realize how good the Division III level can be. You've got some guys that just kind of fall under the radar that are special talents. And we've been fortunate to kind of steal a few and, have them develop and lead us to, I think a lot of success, but just great stories all around. And it doesn't really matter where you come from. Obviously, the NBA level, that's the elite 1%. But as far as playing professional basketball, I think we'll have a young man from our team this past year. He'll have a chance to do that as well.
Duncan Robinson was a D3 recruit.
Yeah, a neat story there. We actually played him. So really? he was in the pod. We were in the Sweet 16 at Mary Washington, and he was in the pod with Williams College. And we lost to Mary Washington, and we saw him, and he got, he was a talented national freshman of the year, but he was playing and he advanced in that pod and went on to the Final Four. And I think they lost at the buzzer. But then he kind of transferred to Michigan, and the rest is history. But that's the types of quality players they get there as well.
Yeah, he's so fast. I was going to say his shooting, he is so quick.
Yeah, he was just thinner back then, but he was a special talent.
Yeah. Have you found, right, over the years, do more players and even like assistant coaches or whatever, do you find that they transfer up a division, or do you find that they transfer down a division?
I think it's such a competitive market right now. And we've had a lot of assistants move up, move down, go to different levels. And it's really where they go, where the jobs are. But you do have some assistants that want to reach the highest level and want to be at the top of their profession. And you have some that really don't care, that they want to be in the right spot and working for the right head coach and people that can help them move on to coach their own program. And then you see at the higher levels, Division I assistants, maybe they've been there 10 years, but they haven't been able to get their own head job, and they'll come down to take a head Division III job. So I think it fluctuates. It goes, up and back. I have an assistant right now at Lehigh University. I had an assistant at Rice. I have an assistant that's the head coach at Avery University. And I think my assistant right now, he's going to be a special coach. I think wherever their interests are is where we try to let them, pursue their passion and, run their own program. But make no mistake, everybody's in it to actually have their own program one day and to be a head coach.
I want to go, this actually just popped in my mind. We were talking about Virginia Beach earlier. What makes that place so special?
Well, if you think of Virginia Beach, It's a big tourist spot. Everybody knows that, but it's it's a really hotbed for basketball, for football, for sports in general. So the 757 area is what they call it, and it's Hampton Roads, and it's made up of 7 cities. And in those 7 cities, there's probably over 85 public high schools and 15 private schools that we get a chance to really recruit and hopefully build a big fence and not let too many people in. But it's just a nice area to build relationships from a recruiting standpoint and try to coach the guys that you want in your program, and hopefully you can steal a few that could go higher level that choose to stay local and play at a school like ours. But we've been able to do that. It gets harder and harder as AAU and exposure gets out there. But, as far as raising a family, it's just so much to do. And you got the beach, you got, every convenience as far as sports. And my kids play my tennis, and my daughter is a theater junkie. So there's just things for everybody to do. And we've really enjoyed living here. And hopefully we can, be here a while longer.
All right, let's go right back to high school. I want to ask you, because I have two in mind,
Okay.
right, that were fed to me. Your favorite memory from high school basketball?
Wow. Oof, that's tough. I would say I have a bunch of them, being with my teammates back then and just thinking back of some of those guys. But I can think of the one time we beat Durfee.
I knew it.
That was a good I don't know, step in the right direction for our program. That's something that they were the powerhouse and kind of measuring stick for the standard. Obviously back there, and the toughness that came with it. And then I think there was one other game. I think we beat Quincy in the playoffs, and that was kind of a big night for us to advance to play New Bedford. But those things, you just remember. Yeah.
As I again talking with my dad, obviously you guys go way back, and he was like, he's gonna say either you beat Durfee, we beat Durfee, or we beat New Bedford in the playoffs. So you passed the test, Dave. Congrats.
And I knew a lot of those guys. I mean, we played against them. They were our rivals growing up, and there's some fantastic athletes and friends with a lot of them to this day. It's just those guys. Somerset was never really quite known for basketball. I think it was more known for baseball and some other sports. And to get a chance to do that, it was nice.
Did you play any other sports in basketball?
I did. I played baseball was my primary sport. My dad coached me all growing up, and I actually played baseball in college a little bit as well. And it was just, that was a big culture back then. Little League, Senior League, everything else, and we just played both. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go to Keegan Hamlet. Any last minute thoughts, questions, anything from you?
Yeah, just one quick question. For college coaching, do you want to talk about maybe the recruiting process and how much of a say you have in the talent that you bring in to Division III basketball program at Virginia?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love your background, by the way. I absolutely love that. I remember those days. My kids actually are fans of all those teams that you have behind them. We've kind of pushed them in the right direction, and I love taking them up there when I'm able.
Raise them right.
New England sports culture, you never quite lose, and I think the only thing missing is probably Providence College this year.
Oh,
and
yes.
And they had.
Oh, yes.
A lot of my friends, Paul Shiraz, Timmy Aruda, those guys, they die hard. So
yeah,
I would say, as far as the recruiting process, at Division III, most people don't know. We don't give athletic scholarships, so we have to identify the right kids, the kids that can obviously have talent, skill, toughness, that think team, that you feel like would be a good addition to your program and it can help you win and win the right way. And then once we do that, we go after them hard, and by seeing them throughout the year, texting, calls, having them visit, really following up and building relationships and meaningful relationships. Kids, they see through it when you're not, and social media is really big now. But I think, that the relationship piece, then you get them to apply to your school. They have to be able to get in to your school. Once they apply, get their transcript in, then they fill out what they call a FAFSA form. And that is the financial, part of things. And then once that is filled out and they get accepted to your school, then we're able to talk about what it was going to cost to actually attend Virginia Wesleyan. And I think, that's probably the biggest hurdle for every family nowadays is the rising cost of tuition, room and board. And we hope to be as competitive as we can, some more than others, but we really don't have a say in that. And then we hope that the family is comfortable, affording that. And the young man is taking some student loans and invest in his future. And if that all goes through and they feel good about it, and I think they come to the school for a variety of reasons. They're going to come because they like the campus, they have the major they want, the career choice, but more importantly, they feel comfortable and they've built a relationship with the coaching staff, especially the head coach, and they have the chance to maybe play. Because nowadays everybody wants to play minutes, and it's tough for people to come there and not have a chance or an opportunity, even though we have a very competitive program and some guys need to be patient. But once we do that, and if they want to make their commitment, they would just pay their $300 deposit to reserve their spot in next year's class and try to get priority housing and move forward. And we usually get them in the summer for a few weeks of camp and join us in August when school starts.
One last question. Has the transfer portal by any means affected your program and your means of recruiting?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, you see it in today's day and age. Some Division I programs, I think they just live on it. You see they just got 5 transfers in and 5 out. Not so much at our level. We are tapping into it more. We've had in the last month, I want to say 5 or 6 visits from kids in the transfer portal, probably Division II kids that we've identified. We recruited out of high school that took a scholarship that maybe didn't like it, that, are looking to go elsewhere now and play and, be part of the happy factor a little bit more. But it is something that, is, I don't know, it's apparent through all the levels, and there's so many kids in it. So it's just identifying the right kids at that point. But it is something we're more aware of now.
And we were just talking earlier with the Friars, right? 4 of their 5 starters came from the transfer portal.
Yeah.
It's changing the game.
Right. And then I would say 5 years ago, if you'd have said to me, you have a kid that wants to come to your school, but he's only got 1 year left, I would say, nah, we're not really interested. We can't really get him in our culture in 1 year and, bring him along. But if he's good enough, and nowadays a 1 year transfer can really help your program. And I think that it goes a long way, especially with COVID, because a lot of kids got a year back,
right,
and navigating through COVID. And that's been a difficult for all the kids that, the last couple of years, last 2.5 years.
We see we have the super seniors, we have the seniors, the grad students, and then the super seniors, and
right,
all this different crazy stuff. That's how Colin Gillespie is still at Villanova. 6 years.
Well, you just see it. I mean, we had 4 kids come back and use a COVID year or an extra year this past season, and I think you'll see some of the underclassmen. They'll use their last year eligibility, and rightfully so. Though I mean, we played 8 games the year before. We didn't get a chance to play in our conference tournament due to a COVID issue. It's just stuff like that they didn't really get a great experience, and at least the NCAA has allowed them to do that.
Yeah, it's something that the NCAA is doing. At least I thought that they did really well was grant that extra year, because you look at the Ivy League, who didn't have a season, right? There's an example.
Right. No,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say too, the better players though in our league was a senior year. We had to play against them an extra year, and give them another year, and they might have had more opportunity last year. So from that standpoint, you get good and bad.
All right. Well, that's going to do it on this edition of the Sports Saga podcast. Next week, we're joined by Fox Sports' John Fanta. Really looking forward to that interview. For Keegan Hamlet and the great Dave Macedo, I am Brady Kudo, and enjoy your day.